What up, dogs? This is Last Brohican, and I'm coming at you with the third episode of our little Crusader Kings 2 tutorial. This is, like I said in the first episode, this is a game that has just consumed my life for like a month now, and I just wish more of my Steam friends would play with me, but I know that the first thing they would all say is, well, Last Brohican, I just don't really know how to play the game. So I'm making these to help out those who need it, and also to no longer give any of my Steam friends an excuse not to play with me, because I'm doing my best here to make sure that these are bite-sized, you can listen to them anywhere. Right now, there hasn't been a whole lot of visuals to be like, oh, you need to, so you can listen to this anywhere. But here is kind of our first visual that is an important one. So back in episode 1, when I was instructing you how to use your consoles, I sent our mayor of Southampton into Surrey to be like, yo, fabricate a claim for me, give me a reason to go to war. Now, I'll talk about war real quick, because you're like, well, why do I need to fabricate claims? Well, if you're attacking another feudal Catholic, you have to have a reason why. You can't just go ahead and do it, at least in this current state of the game. From my understanding, they are going to change that up, so it's a little bit easier to attack other people. But right now, if you're looking to attack someone who has the same government, same religion as you, you need to figure out a reason why. There are many other reasons, but this is like the, I would say, cleanest way of taking land from other people. So we're going to go ahead. As we can see here, our Chancellor was successful in fabricating a claim for us, basically saying, I did a bunch of crazy stuff to make it seem like you actually own or deserve this land. So we're going to say, yeah, hell yeah, we are going to use this, so we're going to use the claim. Now, what I just did there was basically give myself a reason to invade Surrey. So they only got 300 dudes, we got 800, so we're just going to go ahead and go to town on these guys. I'm going to give my son another title here just so I can... Oh, we lost our marshal. Dang. Alright, whatever. I won't cry about it too much, but alright. Our Chancellor did his job. I'm going to put him on to the next one. Now, I will say that the fabricating claims thing, it can take a long time. You know, you like may or may not, like, you can go years. Like, depending on how fast you go, you can go like years in game, minutes in real life without your Chancellor doing anything good. So it is really important to hire a Chancellor that actually has a somewhat decent diplomacy skill, or otherwise you'll just be sitting on your hands doing nothing. But that's the reason why I like it for feudal, is because it goes slow. You know, it's this little piecemeal thing. If you play tribal or even Ikta, you can lose everything in a hot minute. Like, you can be one day a free nation, and in the next minute just a lowly vassal to another king, and or just wiped off the map. So that's why I like going feudal, especially when you're a beginner. It will make the most sense. Otherwise, if you play tribal or anything like that, you'll be like, I have no idea what the hell's going on. Like, you see this right now, all these wonderful little, these are all tribal nations. Things will change for them in a hot minute. A lot of these places will be going down very quickly. You'll see some pretty massive kingdoms popping up in the next probably couple decades. Alright, so we took the claim. We are going to go to war. So declare war. He doesn't have any allies. I don't have any allies. But as we can see, looking at our troop totals, he only has 300. I got nearly 900. This is going to be a pretty one-sided fight here, which is exactly what we wanted. So going to declare war. Then I already talked about the Holy Orders a little bit. I will go into more detail about what this tab is. So this is our military tab, as we see. You got your routines. Okay. All right. Where I'll go into this a little bit later. Like, this is even new for me. Like, I'm already like, huh, I didn't even know that. All right. So our vassals. It gives you a quick overview of which vassals will actually give us troops. It largely depends on how big the vassals are, and, like, you know, if it's a guy who just owns a city, he's not gonna be able to give you much, and also how much they like you. Obviously, our son We gave him some land. He's our only son, our precious son. And as we can see, he likes us a lot because, well, we gave him a lot of stuff, and he's the heir to the throne. So why would you be mad? You know? All right. So we got all this. He's going to give us a fair amount of troops, at least a fair amount for starting the game. We are going to call everybody. So here's your own personal levies. These are the guys who fight for you specifically. Then we're also going to raise our vassal. We're going to consolidate our troops here. I'll go into quick detail. Oh, looks like they caught a dude. All right. So what we got here in our little for our little options, we can embark them if we had a boat. You have to have a boat docked in whatever country or land piece you own. We could okay, this is basically disband them. We could just say, "No, what, guys, we're not going to fight. Go home," or we're going to merge units. I always do this just because, especially as you grow bigger, you will have, when you call your vassals, you'll have guys coming out of the woodwork sending you troops, and you can have, like, honestly, a list all the way down to the screen, and you're like, I just want to see one solid consolidated group, so we'll do that. This is, you can just make a new unit, which will split your guys. You can attach onto friendly units. This is if you're fighting a war with an ally. Like if we called West Francia into this war, they could just latch onto them, then split off special troops, you know, if we had special troops, but we don't. This is our commander list. It shows us how many they have of each type. So right now the center obviously has the most of light infantry, heavy infantry, and light cavalry. And then looks like we got some archers here on the right side. We're going to assign, make sure we have each flank covered. This is the center flank, the center, left flank, right flank. So looks like these two dudes are already fighting it. All right, got our son in there. All right, next thing I want to point out is these little green bars basically kind of show morale. You know, that's the best way I could say it. It's like morale or readiness to fight. So right now our guys aren't too ready. Your own levies will always be ready to fight as soon as you raise them. Your vassal levies will not be. They will always take a hot minute to kind of get themselves ready. So we'll speed it up. What they're doing right now is the Syrian army is sieging one of our castles. They have to siege each one of our holdings. I will go into more detail about what these holdings do and what they are in a hot minute after we win our fight here. So we are going to go over there. It's going to show combat will start on the 11th of March, 771. Boom. So I'll slow down a little bit. And this will be kind of a thing that I might get chewed out for. You don't really have to watch this too much. I always just watch here. This is the morale. So as we can see, we're beating them up pretty bad. This is just what each commander is doing. So they're pursuing right now, chasing down the enemy. It looks like they're not even really losing a whole lot of guys. So I probably should have stayed a little bit longer for that just to show you the battle breakdown. That was some muscle memory. But either way, we beat them up. So we can see here in the bottom right, this is where all of your current wars will show. When you get bigger, there will be times where you're fighting 2, maybe 3 wars at a time. So right now we have a 30% advantage on them, meaning, hey, you know what? We just fought them in the first battle and things went really well for us. Now what we're doing is we are going to siege one of their castles, specifically this one, Lambeth. Now this is important because, well, first off, there's a fever going on. That's going to hurt us. That's going to hurt the number of our forces and possibly the number of theirs. To siege a castle, you're always going to want to have, you'll need more troops than the defenders. That's how they set it up. That's how they do it. So we're going to go ahead, siege this guy. It's going to go down pretty quick here. Boom. Oh, no. Was that our kid? Was that our... Nope, that was just a kinsman. Alright. So these dotted lines here mean, okay, we hold one of these holdings. We don't hold all of them. To fully take over it, we will need to hold all of them. Nothing will happen when you take over every single holding in a country. It just really helps your war score. So we did that, but the Syrians are back at it. So we're gonna go slap them. So boom, victory. As we see, we gained some extra prestige. Did not gain any piety. Did not gain any military points. This is a little bit random. You'll get piety if you fight quote-unquote non-believers, people who don't believe in Christianity. Change in war score, as it shows, we are pretty high up there. We're going for, there's 3 different things you can do. You can enforce demands, give a white peace, or surrender. Surrendering, obviously saying I lost. White peace is just like nothing happens. Like, we go back to the way things are. Enforce demands basically means, since we declared war on him, we get what we asked for, which is basically we want your country. So there we go, we got it. We're gonna offer our peace. Enforce demands, and as we can see, we will gain the county of Surrey, and we will get 100 prestige in war contribution. So bam, boom, bam, bing, boom, bop, we got it. All right, cool. So we just grew a little bit larger, and let's see here. Levies raised too long. You'll see that whenever you raise your levies. It's honestly kind of a little bit of an annoyance. I don't really like that. As someone said on the Crusader Kings 2 subreddit, like, it's their job to raise their levies, so why are they getting so salty about it? So we're gonna just, looks like we lost some of our commanders went away. We're gonna make sure that we have full ranks. All right, looks like we lost a couple people here. I don't want to, because the thing is when you send your people out, there's always a chance that they could get hurt or die, especially your spy master. The spy master always runs the highest risk of getting himself messed up, because, oh, I just appointed my own son. Whoopsies. Sorry, boy. All right. You know, whether he gets imprisoned in whatever country he's studying technology from, gets beat up for scheming against the person you asked him to, you know, and the chaplain also can run a pretty dangerous life if he's trying to evangelicize lands that aren't your religion, aren't his religion. Alright, so it looks like people are dying off because they're old. Luckily for us, the slow fever didn't hit us. But alright, so that will be the next. This is, I think, the end of this episode. I hope you took away some decent learning. I learned a little bit myself here. Obviously, I need to kind of further explore this routines, as I did not know that. So, oh, and this is your fleets. Pretty straightforward. Kind of the same thing as your armies, where you can call them here. You can just call your fleet levies. We don't even have the technology for boats, for military boats, so I'm not gonna go too deep into it. But all right, guys, that's it for the 3rd episode here. I hope you learned something, and this is Last Heekin, and happy gaming, gamers.